The file wasn't supposed to be opened. It was marked Restricted, Cold Case Archive, a section most agents never touched unless ordered. But that night, FBI Special Agent Laura Mitchell wasn't following orders. She was following instinct. Laura had spent 12 years chasing criminals, serial offenders, missing persons, unsolved murders. Cold cases were her specialty, files everyone else had given up on. She believed every case left something behind. At 11:47 p.m., alone in the records room, Laura pulled a dusty folder from the bottom shelf. The case was old, almost 30 years. The victim, an unidentified woman found near a small town outside Ravenwood, Oregon. No fingerprints, no witnesses. No suspects, just one line that made Laura freeze. Victim, name unknown, alias used, Laura Mitchell. Her heart stopped. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a similar name. It was hers, same spelling, same middle initial, same birth year. Laura checked the date again. The case was opened 5 years before she was officially born. Her hands trembled as she flipped the page. The description was worse: height, eye color, a small scar near the left wrist. Laura instinctively looked down. The scar was there. She had never told anyone about it. She convinced herself it had to be an error, a clerical mistake. Someone reused a fake name. But then she saw the photograph. The woman in the crime scene photo looked unsettlingly familiar. Not identical, but close enough to make her stomach turn. Same facial structure, same eyes. Laura shut the file. She told herself to walk away. But something inside her refused. The next morning, she quietly requested access to the evidence logs. What she found made the situation darker. Several pieces of evidence from the case were never tested. Some were removed. Others were marked, handled internally. By whom? The signature at the bottom of the page answered that question. It belonged to a senior FBI supervisor, a man who was still alive, still working, still trusted. Laura realized something terrifying. This case hadn't gone cold. It had been buried, and somehow it was connected to her. That night, Laura received a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end was calm. "You weren't supposed to find that file," the man said. "Stop digging, or you'll end up like the first Laura Mitchell." The line went dead. Laura stood there in silence, knowing one thing for certain. This wasn't just a case anymore, it was her case. And whatever happened 30 years ago and wasn't finished yet, the file wasn't supposed to be there. Agent Sarah Mitchell stared at the screen, hoping it was a mistake. A glitch, a duplicate entry, anything that could explain what she was seeing. But the database didn't lie. The cold case file had her full name. Not similar, not partial. Exact Sarah Mitchell. Date of birth, location. Even a childhood address she hadn't used in decades. Her hands tightened around the mouse. She opened the file. The case was marked unsolved and dated 1999, 7 years before she officially joined the FBI. The victim description stopped her breathing. Female child, approximately 8 years old. Disappeared after last being seen near a public park. Sarah closed her eyes. She had been 8 in 1999. She remembered that park. Her supervisor's voice echoed in her head. "If you ever find your name in a case, report it immediately." But this wasn't protocol territory. This was personal. Sarah didn't report it. Instead, she copied the file to an offline drive and stayed late, pretending to finish paperwork while the office emptied. She reviewed the witness statements. One line kept repeating. The girl was seen talking to a woman, late 30s, blonde hair, calm voice. Sarah's memory stirred, and a fragment she had always assumed was a dream. A woman kneeling in front of her, asking her name, smiling. The surveillance section of the case was thin. Cameras in 1999 were limited, but one item caught her attention. A grainy still image from a convenience store near the park. The timestamp was minutes before the reported disappearance. Sarah leaned closer. The child in the image was her, and standing behind her was someone wearing an FBI badge. Her badge. Not identical, but close enough to freeze her blood. Sarah pushed back from the desk. If this was real, then one of two things was true. Either someone had rewritten history, or her life, her career, had been shaped by a lie she didn't remember. At 2:14 a.m., Sarah did something she had never done before. She searched for herself in restricted FBI archives. The system hesitated, then opened a second file. Classified, status active. The evidence agent Sarah Miller uncovered in Part 2 forced the FBI to reopen the cold case officially. This time, it wasn't treated as a missing person file. It was treated as a manipulated identity crime. Sarah followed the financial trail first. A dormant trust fund tied to the cold case victim had been quietly paying small monthly amounts for years. The account was protected by layered shell companies, but one thing stood out. Every payment was routed through government-safe financial corridors only accessible to contractors with federal clearance. Someone inside the system was keeping the identity alive. Sarah traced archived internal memos from the early 2000s and found something deeply disturbing. The cold case wasn't a single incident. It was part of a failed FBI witness replacement experiment, a classified program designed to erase endangered witnesses by giving them new identities, then officially declaring them dead. The woman in the cold case wasn't murdered, she was reassigned, and her new identity was accidentally reused years later, Sarah Miller. The moment the program collapsed, records were supposed to be destroyed. But one senior supervisor didn't follow protocol. He kept copies, not for protection, but for control. That supervisor was Deputy Director Thomas Klein. Klein had overseen identity transitions for high-risk witnesses. When the program was shut down, he realized something dangerous. As long as he controlled the original identity records, he controlled the people tied to them, including Sarah. When confronted, Klein denied everything, until Sarah presented the final piece of evidence, a sealed audio file from the original case. In the recording, the witness describes her new name. It was Sarah's. Klein confessed within hours. He admitted he had been monitoring Sarah's career from the moment she entered the FBI. He never expected her to rise fast or to discover the file. His plan was to keep the truth buried forever. Klein was arrested for obstruction, identity manipulation, and federal conspiracy. The witness protection experiment was publicly exposed for the first time. Dozens of hidden identities were reviewed. Several people were finally freed from lives they never chose. As for Sarah Miller, her identity was legally restored and protected under a new classification. She remained with the FBI, but transferred to internal oversight. She didn't lose her name, she reclaimed it. Because the most dangerous cold cases aren't the ones without suspects. They're the ones that were never meant to be solved. If this story shocked you, like the video and subscribe for more real crime stories. Thank you for watching.